Welcome back to Ask the Attorney on Buzz TV. I'm Mike White. Join me today is Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So it's been about 2.5, 3 years since you've been in. It's great to have you back. I want to talk about probate today. The Hinson Law Firm focuses a lot on probate.
Correct.
What is probate?
Probate is a process in which we are going to help families transfer assets of a loved one once they've passed away.
All right, so it's not just easy as a will and then it transitions on, or what makes it difficult?
Right. What makes it challenging at times is if there is a will, whether the will gets challenged, or whether you have complicated estate assets that require more than just a simple order from a judge to transfer them over.
So what complicates the probate process?
More complicated assets where you have stocks involved or things like that. If you have multiple family members or lines of generations that are involved because other family members have passed away that are also beneficiaries can complicate things. Locating lost beneficiaries can be difficult at times as well.
So what percent of cases that you work with does a family member challenge it?
Pretty limited. I would probably say 2 to 5% of cases you have a challenge of a will. The vast majority of cases, folks don't have wills. We're dealing with what we call the intestate statutes in Florida, which are statutes that tell families where assets are to go when there isn't a will.
So what happens if there's a will and gone through probate and assets got dispersed, and then they find a new will or a newer one 4 months after? What happens in that case?
It depends, honestly, and that's a lawyer answer, but it often depends on what the family would like to do, whether that new will changes up the actual disposition of the assets.
So let's go ahead and say it does.
It does change up the assets.
It takes it that people got it in the beginning, the assets that in the new will had been cut out from those assets. Do they go back and take those assets back away?
They can. Again, it depends on, in that situation, it depends on who had the will, why they were holding it, why they didn't deposit it. There's a Florida statute that requires someone who's in possession of a will to deposit it within 10 days of someone's passing. Yep. So if they don't deposit it within that 10 days, there's an argument that they delayed the process and their own actions may have undone what they wanted.
I think this just happened with a celebrity. I'm asking because
I
just saw in the news that they found a will in the house that
I think I saw that
there wasn't a will.
Yeah, I think they found multiple wills under couches and things like that. Right, I do believe I saw that. If the estate's been completely administered and the parties have received what they call a notice of administration, a lot of times it may be too late to be able to undo the estate. But in situations where the estate's already in progress and a new will pops up, essentially gets administered if it's a valid will and it's been properly executed in conformity with the Florida statutes.
So current Florida statutes, what's the estate tax?
In Florida right now, the estate tax matches whatever the federal tax is, which I believe the number continues to rise every year. I believe it's somewhere around 11 million right now. So very few estates end up having to pay the estate tax, or what was once referred to as the death tax.
Yep.
But very few estates are having to deal with that at this point.
So is there an income tax then that someone has to pay? So let's say a family member passes away, I inherit $100,000. What do I have to pay out of that $100,000 in taxes?
I don't practice tax law, so generally when my client, I know. Generally, my understanding is that there's not a tax on inheritance up to a certain level, but I always advise my clients to check with their certified public accountant, their CPA, or a tax lawyer to make sure that they're in line, because there may be special circumstances that require them to pay taxes.
So this goes to a great point. Someone who's a general practitioner probably doesn't specialize in probate, correct?
Most folks don't, right?
All right, so what you want to do is find an attorney that is in that lane and that's an expert at it that can help you and assist you in your matters that you have.
Correct. It's very similar to doctors. You have foot doctors and you have hand doctors and you have cardiologists.
Go to the foot doctor, do your heart transplant.
Exactly. The same thing is with the law. We have most firms focus on a certain area. Some firms do handle general practice and will try to handle multiple areas. But you want to find a firm that's going to be right for what you need at that time.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you coming on the program today.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to, you do more than just probate, and I want to get you back on and talk about some of those services. So if you want to find more about Matt Hinson's Law, go to iwantabuzz.com. We look forward to seeing you next time on Buzz TV.